Welcome back, everybody. It's Liv, and today we're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. And it's a little bit more serious, with a little bit of my humor added into it, of course. We're talking about chronic illness and low spoon days. In my 45 years, I have acquired several chronic illnesses, a lot of chronic pain, and every day is a battle. It really is. Why did I decide to talk about this now? Well, the internet wasn't what it was back in the day. Doctors didn't really take these things serious. They just considered them, women complaints, and just moved along. Here, have some, pain medication and shut up and go away. It's pretty much how my mom was treated, and she had also lived with chronic illness and chronic pain. I'm gonna adjust myself. I'm talking about it now because I think it's very important that we, as a group of chronic pain and trauma and mental health warriors, we come together and we learn from each other and we vent to each other and we try and understand and bring more awareness to the conditions that we struggle with. And men and women, I have found out that men struggle with some of my chronic illnesses as well. So I thought that was very interesting. Obviously, some of the chronic illnesses that I have are, more personal, and I could understand why they wouldn't want to go to a doctor and talk about these things, because it's like, something. A urologist once told me that that the disease that I have is just is something an old lady that has a problem peeing, that you just brush them aside. So of course, if doctors are thinking that it's just something little old ladies complain about, like after giving birth 40-50 years ago, why would a man come forward and say, hey, I'm having these problems too? So forgive my hair, y'all. It just does what it wants to do, and we are letting it be. You know what? That's okay. What does chronic illness look like for different people? Well, first of all, my chronic illnesses, they include constantly watching the things that I put into my body, the foods, the liquids, the minerals, the supplements, all of that. How are you going to handle the days when you're feeling like absolute shit? How do you go about explaining to people, why you're unable to do certain things? It looks different for every person, but in my Facebook groups that I'm in, I've learned that, even though our lifestyles are different, our symptoms are pretty much the same. We all deal with this constant weight on our shoulders, on our bellies, on our chests, in our blood, everything. And for different people, it could look the same. And what I wanted to say was, I chose sending out content once a week because I know that with my energy level, with my chronic pain, my chronic illnesses, that once a week is what I can definitely do. I can definitely do a sit down and talk with you guys while I have my heating pad on. That's totally fine. Some days I'm so productive. I just made a loaf of bread, okay? You guys, like the first loaf of bread that I made was banana nut bread. Awesome, came out really good. The second loaf of bread, I tried cinnamon raisin bread, and it came out, you've seen my Instagram. It came out very bad, and I named it Seabiscuit because of how hard and tough and resilient it was. And this new loaf of bread is called Perfection. And even though it is not a perfect, it is shaped gloriously. Like you could put a cellophane bag on it and put it on a Walmart shelf and say it's good. $5.99 for that shit right there. Yes, honey, I made a great loaf of bread, and that is also on my Instagram. Some days, like yesterday, was a very hard day for me. I get chronic migraines. I have photophobia, which means that my eyes don't like light. I'm a vampire. I don't like the sunlight. So sunglasses all the time whenever I'm out. Sunglasses all the time, whether it's in the winter, especially snow time. Just, I need to have, this ring light right here is going to give me a headache. And so I'm going to take some medicine later on for that. But that's fine. I need a ring light to show off my face so that you guys can see that I don't live in the shadows, even though I totally live in the shadows. I live in the bat cave, y'all. It's a bat cave. But yesterday was horrible. Yesterday my headache, my whole body was tense. I have a massage chair, thank goodness for that. Sat in that for about a half hour and it loosened things up. And when it loosens things up, I'm able to actually perform better. So that's why I'm coming in today and I'm like, yeah, I can totally record a video today. No problem. But yesterday was a very bad day, and I have a lot of very bad days. The pain is excruciating. It feels like I'm actually in labor. And I'm going to talk more about that specific illness in just a moment. But yeah, low spoon days. And that's the thing that popped up. A woman was describing the unit of measurement of energy that people have with lupus. Now, lupus is also a god-awful disease to have, and I would not wish that on anyone, and I'm so sorry that people are going through that. But I had a low spoon day, and it looked like there was no Minecraft at 6:30 with my brother. There was no taking pictures. There was no doing anything. I napped the whole day. The whole day I napped. I woke up. I did what I needed to do with my dog. I fed him. I let him out, every 2 hours because he's a little dog, so he has a little bladder. And then the rest of the day I watched YouTube, and then I watched my favorite streamer. Let's talk about my different chronic illnesses. I have IC, which is also known as interstitial cystitis and painful bladder syndrome. It is a very debilitating disease. It is very, very painful. If you've ever had a bladder infection, times that by 100 every day, and you get no relief from antibiotics. No cranberry juice. No drinking more water. It's just bad. Sometimes there's blood. And I've had a lot of treatments. I've had instills where they actually inject lidocaine and other medications inside of your bladder. You hold it in there and then you release it later on. Yeah, this video is not for kids, so if you have kids you might want to there's going to be a warning at the beginning of this video. But yeah, TMI, but it's the truth. Sometimes when I use the restroom, it feels like I'm bringing forth another child. I have handrails in my bathroom to hold on to when the pain gets so excruciating when I'm using the restroom. I have different forms of lidocaine. I have different nerve medications, different muscle relaxers. It's a very painful disease to have. I also have type 2 diabetes. Got my CGM working right just fine. Finally, after I think I failed like two CGMs already, and it's like all right, Dexcom, you need to get your act together. But that's a user error. I figured out, because usually when I put it right here, my clumsy ass is like hitting it on the door frame and just knocking it off. But I found these really nice over patches that work really well. type 2 diabetes is a very stigmatized disease. And I want to point out right now, it is not for fat people. It is not because you're fat. It is not because you sit around stuffing your face with little Debbies. It is not because you don't work out. It is not because you are anything less than a normal human being whose pancreas decided to be an asshole for some reason. So let's just stop putting the blame on people being overweight, because I've seen people who are, larger than myself, totally fine, and they have no type 2 diabetes whatsoever. It runs in my family, as well as other chronic illnesses, chronic fatigue syndrome. I also have Epstein-Barr virus. Epstein-Barr virus living in my bloodstream, since childhood. But the type 2 diabetes, blah, I cannot talk today. The type 2 diabetes is, I wanted to be very specific about it, because there is a huge stigma about people who have type 2 diabetes, the sugar diabetes, oh, you got that ring around your neck, oh, you're overweight and all that. No, honey, there are skinny people who have to wear CGMs too. So stop shaming people. Yes, the world needs to be healthier. Yes, there's probably more type 2 diabetics in America than any other country because we have so much processed food. I don't have a lot of sugar. I have emergency sugar items, in case my blood sugar gets low, but I don't have sugar in my house. I mean, this loaf of bread, it's carbohydrates. Will I eat the whole friggin' loaf? No. Because I know that my blood sugar will get high and then I'll have to inject myself with insulin, which is another thing that I absolutely hate. I have to inject myself with insulin several times a day, and it pisses me off actually, because sometimes it hurts, sometimes it bleeds. You got to change needles all the time, and then sometimes insurance doesn't want to cover insulin, and they're like, "Oh no, it's going to be $500 for one month supply." Sir, I don't have that money on me. I can't pay $500 for a freaking shot. But they brought it down, and I'm on a good insurance plan now, so they do take care of me. They actually give me my my sensors for free, 90-day supply. So that's really nice. Another illness that I have is, let's talk about mental health. I was originally diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And then when I was 20 years old, I was diagnosed with agoraphobia, obsessive compulsive disorder. That does not mean that you clean all the time. There is something completely different. That's different. I'm not Danny Tanner. I'm cluttered. My obsessive compulsive disorder is the ruminating thoughts, the constant spiraling. That's my OCD. I also have ADHD, which I suffer from executive dysfunction. I just learned what the hell that was like the other day, because I was like, I was talking to ChatGPT about different like I have all these ideas, I have all these great ideas, but like I flop at like motivation, and I thought, God, you're just lazy. You're just lazy. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to put any effort in. And went back to all this ruminating about all the times teachers said, oh, you have so much potential, but you never do anything with it. But as a matter of fact, it is not a lack of motivation. It is a lack of executive functioning. And I'm going to scroll my mouse down just a little bit. So executive dysfunction, on top of interstitial cystitis, IC, PBS, painful bladder syndrome, on top of several other mental health conditions that I'm not really ready to share yet. And the fact that I am going to therapy and working on, past traumas, past things that have happened to me that I have to let go of, or learn how to, be okay with them happening. Getting started. Like, I've had this plan about getting like one of those, those old galvanized milk cans, the hourglass shaped ones, 5 gallons or whatever, and cutting like a door, like a hinged door, and then inside would be like a dairy farm. Don't take my idea. I'll be very mad if you take that idea. I've been thinking about it for decades. Anyways, making like a, like a little dairy farm inside. And the thing that stopped me I'm talking about decades, like when I was like 20, okay? So that's like what, 25 years of thinking about this stupid freaking milk can dairy farm miniature design. And the thing that stopped me was, how do you get a hinge onto a galvanized metal milk can? I don't work with power tools very often, and I don't weld. So I was thinking in my head, well, there's no freaking way that I'm going to be able to do this. So I'm just going to put that on the back burner and come back to it at a time when I have, a boyfriend or whatever that could help me out with that. Never happened. One conversation with ChatGPT, and then my brain went, bitch, why are we so confused on a hinge? Why don't we just cut out a window like in one of those little sugar Easter eggs? Like, why are we complicating this shit? Is really not that big of a deal. But see, this once that step was figured out, then like I came up with another step. Okay, now we're talking about the cows. Now we're talking about, is there a red barn? Is there a brown barn? Is there a wooden fence? Is there a metal fence? Is it a modern dairy, or is it a rustic English dairy? Oh, it's a rustic English dairy. Okay, well, that's completely changes this. So see, my mind struggles with getting the steps together. So that's why I need my bullet points for most of my videos, because I struggle with that so hard. It's like, instead of getting it done, I just take a nap. And I thought that was depression for the longest time. What it is executive dysfunction. It's a part of ADHD, which runs in my family too. I don't know. The only thing that doesn't run in my family is me. But therapy hangovers. Now, I'm working with a therapist who is doing deep trauma work and internal family systems, meaning there's a hierarchy. I call them the boardroom. There's a boardroom of parts in my head. There's protector parts, younger parts, wiser parts, father-like parts. There's all these parts in my head. And in order to integrate them and have them work together with me instead of against me and sabotaging my life, I am doing IFS therapy. Now that, compared to the CBT therapy I was doing for 5 years before this therapist, that was surface level therapy. It wasn't really doing the deep dive. They wanted me to come up with the emotions about the trauma that happened to me, and my brain had just locked the emotions away. It was like, oh yeah, well, we could tell you all about the trauma all day long. Milk, bread, eggs, sugar, olive oil. But when it came down to how did that make you feel, I have no idea. I don't know. So I made up stories about how it made me feel. And now that I'm working with my new therapist, the actual feelings and the emotions about the trauma are coming through. And oh my goodness, 18 minutes. They're coming through. And so there is a couple of days after my therapy session where I am completely depleted of energy. I am maybe a little irritable. I am exhausted. I nap a lot. I tend to just lay and watch videos all day. I don't get very productive when it comes to that. So trauma work, IFS work, deep therapy work, it can cause a therapy hangover. And there's no shame in that. It is a true phenomenon. Look it up. I did, and I found out that it's real. Now, we're going to talk about the invisible part that no one really sees what's going on inside of our bodies. We're fighting this battle. We're fighting lupus. We're fighting chronic fatigue. We're fighting, there's so many diseases and disorders that I don't even know all of them, but we're fighting something internally, right? And aside from this little Dexcom, and you can't even see it now because I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, but aside from this little Dexcom and maybe giving myself a shot before dinner at a restaurant, like there is no outward signs that I'm struggling mentally, physically, and emotionally. Nobody knows. And that's the thing that sucks so bad about having an invisible illness. I mean, having a visible illness sucks ass too, but like if you break your leg, you have a cast, right? And people can see, hey, she broke her leg. But if you have somebody did something horrible to me when I was 5 years old, or I'm peeing glass over here, nobody freaking knows that. And so they look at you like, why is she sleeping all the time? Well, she must be depressed. Or she must need to go into a mental hospital. She must need this antidepressant, that antidepressant. No, motherfucker, I need you to listen to me telling you that when I use the restroom, there is World War III going down. It's bad, but people don't see that. And so they ignore that. And I'm here to say that if you have an invisible illness, I see you. I see you. And I understand it's hard living life with an invisible illness. People don't understand. They're disappointed because you have all this guilt because you're missing these big things, because you're just not fully able to get up out of bed and go to a birthday party. Like, I have a birthday party to go to, and I know that most of the time I'm just going to be sitting there just chillaxing. I might bring my portable heating pad. I don't know. It depends on how the day goes. The extreme guilt of missing events, the extreme guilt of people calling you lazy. I had my ex-mother-in-law and people like that, accuse me of being lazy when I didn't have the diagnosis of IC. I just knew that I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of guilt. I still have a lot of guilt. I have nap guilt like a motherfucker. I literally take a nap and I feel like I am a piece of crap because I haven't gotten anything done today. And yesterday was just one of those days where it's like, you know what, bitch, you just gotta chill. Just lay down. Get yourself your chamomile tea, because I can't have coffee. And just watch B-rated horror movies. That's my go-to. Listen to music. Music always uplifts me. Music is my regulator. People who are beautiful and wonderful and special enough to say, you don't look sick. And that's when bad thoughts come in my head. You don't look like you have a black eye, but you do now. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't condone violence like that. But come on now. You don't look sick. Is that the best you can do? Really? Instead of, you look a little tired. Or just because I say that I have something and you can't see it, I will show you. I have pictures from from a camera went in there. I've got pictures of what a normal bladder and my bladder looks like. And my bladder looks like somebody let a cat inside and just clawed up a waterbed. That's what my bladder looks like. We're going there today. We're going there today. It's okay. My biggest problem is my comparison to other people. Always belittling belittling's not the right word. Always lessening my chronic illness, saying, well, at least you don't have lupus, or at least you don't have this, or you could have it so much worse, and you're complaining about a little thing like blood in your urine and giving birth even though there's no child at the end of it, and that's something that we as survivors need to stop doing. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one that does it, but I doubt it. I know there's people out there that are thinking, oh, well, I can't complain because Susie over there has stage 4 cancer. So, they have it worse than I do. So my pain is minimal. I don't have the privilege of getting to, it's not about privilege. It's not about privilege. It's about, I'm in pain. Take it seriously. No matter who has it worse than I do. Yes, somebody will always have it worse than us. That doesn't mean that our pain is little. It doesn't mean that our pain isn't worth talking about, worth explaining more about. It just means that our brains have told us, or somebody in our past has told us, quit your bitching, quit your complaining, especially if you're Gen X like me. I'll give you something to cry about. No, thank you. I've got plenty. The next thing I want to talk about is canceling plans, needing naps, freezing from executive dysfunction. Those are things that I already talked about. People mistaking genuine fatigue for depression or laziness. Do you hear the crickets? Yeah. That's why there's this saying, I'm going to butcher it, but there's this saying where people say, be kind to everyone. You never know what battles they're facing. Exactly. Exactly. You don't know what my pain level is at today. I have lived at a 12 out of 10 for like months before. And then there was a time when I had a hysterectomy and I went into remission for like almost 5 years. Okay. I don't have anything left to take out. So the pain is just going to be here forever. Unless I grew another uterus and I can take that one out with it, then I would. I've thought about different augmenting surgeries to get rid of the pain. I've been that desperate before. But just because you can't make it to something, because you said something on a good day, on a high spoon day, and then all of a sudden you get to that day and it's like, I don't even have an inch, a tiny tisp of a teaspoon. I can't do it. And then you've got that huge guilt blanket just draped over you. Stop it. It's okay to cancel plans. Don't do it willy-nilly just because you got like a little headache or anything like that. But if you really feel like you cannot do it, don't let yourself feel guilty about it. I do that all the time and it's bullshit. It's wrong. It's bad thinking, and it's something that I am working on changing myself, because I am a human being and I am allowed to have days where I cannot do certain things. It's fine. It's fine. It sucks. And I hate letting people down. I'm a very big perfectionist, and I used to be a huge people pleaser, but now I'm not anymore. Now I'm just like, it is what it is. I have been running to my crone era, you girls, guys. Y'all don't understand. I've been running to this era where I can finally tell people exactly how I freaking feel. So being 45 is like, yes, I'm here, even though it's supposed to be like 55, 60. I don't care. I'm 45. I've lived long enough to tell people, I'm not going to do it on YouTube. But seriously, Google defines low spoon days the low spoon theory as units of energy originally coined by Christine, I'm going to butcher her name, Miserandino in 2003 to explain the exhaustion of lupus. Now, I am going to drop a link in the description about that article, because I think it's something that we all, as survivors and warriors, need to understand, that it's okay. A low spoon day looks to me like sleep. Just sleep. Sleep, and if I need to, pain medication. Ice packs are your friend. I have even gone to the point where I have foregone certain undergarments because they're very uncomfortable. I will wear specific undergarments for camera, but as soon as this camera comes off, whoop, everything else comes off too. Because I just can't. The pain is just so immense. What gets dropped first? The bra. The undergarments get dropped first. I have a specific time that I play Minecraft with my brother. I'm a huge not a huge gamer, not like Moist Critical or any of those guys like that, but I've been gaming since 1989. So I love gaming, and I game every night with my brother, bare minimum, 3 hours play Minecraft. We're working on something. We're building something. We're creating things. And yesterday I had to tell him, dude, I've got a headache that is very bad. I am going to have to sit this one out. And there are days when I have to sit that out. So extracurricular things like that do have to get taken down. And they do get dropped. Non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are making some form of content. So I make content I have a whole week to make content for the next Monday. And so I've chosen Fridays as the day where I do the video. Saturdays I edit. Fridays I come up with the idea. Saturday I record. Sunday I edit. And Monday I say ship it. I put it out there at 6 p.m. That gives me plenty of time. So if like Friday comes around and I feel like I have more energy, I'll record something. If I don't have any energy, just doing bullet points is enough. If Saturday comes around, like I can interchange things to get that deadline done. I can do a little bit extra on a good spoon day. If there is a week where I have all low spoon days, then I will have to just not make a video. And that's okay. My dog is so desperate for attention. I swear he needs his own OnlyFans account. I see you, sir. You're good. How do I work around executive dysfunction? Bitch, I have lists. I have been making lists since I could write. Lists keep me going nonstop. I need lists. I need bullet points on my laptop to scroll through so that I can figure out what the hell I'm going to talk about and stay on topic. I need the first step to be a baby step. I need the second step, and then it will build momentum off of that. Executive dysfunction is very crippling sometimes and makes me feel like a lazy bitch. But sometimes if I talk through with someone else or if I just talk out loud, I can get things started. And it's like, okay, well, how about instead of all of these things, we just come up with one step and we do that one step. And that's how I'm doing these videos. One day I'll do the bullet points. The next day I will just spill my guts out. The next day I'll chop it down into workable pieces. And then the next day I will schedule it to be uploaded at 6 p.m. So local time. So that's how I do it. On my low energy days, my brain can be very cruel. Tells me I'm lazy, no good, good for nothing, a waste of space, a burden to other people. Perfectionism is something I definitely struggle with. Perfectionism makes it so much worse. But there's a YouTuber on here. I don't know if I can mention her or not, but she does wigs and protective styles. And her thing is whenever somebody does a really quick job of doing something, she will say, ship it. And so I have adopted that mantra as my own because I'm such a fucking perfectionist. I'm such a perfectionist that I just have to say, ship it. And it comes out the way it comes out. And the perfectionism has started to kind of wane a little bit and just calm down a little bit. I'm not completely there yet, but I'm working on it. What helps? Lists. Breaking tasks into bite-sized pieces. When I say bite-sized, I mean, would you feed your 6-month-old this size? Yes? That's too big. Seriously though, bite-sized. Come on now. Y'all don't have to sit there and chew on the whole thing. I know people that have jobs, they don't have choices in that matter. But for someone like me who works from home and stuff, I have to take things into bite-sized pieces. And then when I look at them in bite-sized pieces, then it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. Like, okay, here's an example. You guys are going to laugh. You're going to laugh. But I have specific days that I take specific types of baths. On the shave bath. We'll just call it the shave bath, because showers are very violating to me. It feels like being stabbed by tiny needles. So I don't shower very often, but I bathe. So I am clean. I just cannot stand the barrage of shower droplets. I even have a nice rain head shower. It doesn't matter. It feels like an assault either way. So I do baths. And for my bath, I will go take off my watch, because it's, even though it's waterproof, I don't give a shit. I ain't tempting fate. So I go and I turn on the water and I wait for it to get hot, and then turn the water off, and then I put the plug in and I make sure it's sealed all the way around, and then I turn the water on, and then I turn it a little bit more to the colder side, and then I pour in the little bath salts that I use, and then I get my razor ready, and then I get my soap, my shower or my shaving cream ready, and then I get my loofah ready, and then I get this ready, and then I get in and I do step by step by step by step by step until I'm fully clean and everything is done and shaved and all that stuff. And then I will drain the bathtub, get up, dry off, put on the deodorant and all that, the lotion and all that stuff, and then I will get dressed, and then I will take a rag and I'll clean. I have a whole list of steps that I need to do, and if I do them in order, shit gets done. So I found out that I'm really good with lists. Anyways, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I don't learn by hearing. I learn by writing, doing myself, and seeing people do it. That's how I learn. My learning style, I understand it now. Why school was so difficult for me sometimes. With my new brand and my creative marketing, and I've learned that perfectionism keeps me from producing content. And so I've had to let go of the naysayers in my head that are like, it has to be perfect, it has to be perfect, you have to chop it down, you have to add this kind of intro, it has to be explosive, it has to be wonderful. And I just started saying, you know what, ship it. Honey, ship it. And I know that some of you are going to understand where I got that from. And I hope I don't get in any trouble for using her phrase there. But it works. Ship it. Just put it out there. What's the worst that could happen? Somebody thumbs down it. Ooh, big deal. Is it going to change anything in my life? No. I'm still telling people exactly 100% what's in my mind. Humor is my superpower. It is very important to have a sense of humor when you're dealing with chronic pain, chronic illnesses, and the bullshit that comes with life. I love laughing. I love making people laugh, especially video game humor, which next week I'm going to show you me and my Minecraft chaos. Now, I want you all to know that I am not saying that you should let your child watch any of my videos, ever. Because I cuss like a sailor and I have no apologies for it. It is what it is. If YouTube decides to cut me off for that, well, then I'll just go try something else. But I want to let you guys know that I made a coloring book for with grown-up humor, and it's for low spoon, low effort. I just want to color a little bit. You can scribble, scrabble, whatever the hell you want. I made it for us. For days when we just want to chillax and just do the bare minimum. And it's called Bare Minimum Badass. Snarky humor. Even on rough days, we can be we could be badasses. On rough days, we're still fucking warriors. Come on now. We are Xena and He-Man. We are awesome people. How many other people have to fight this shit? Like, seriously. It's not easy. It's not easy. So doing the bare minimum, you're still awesome. And I want people to know that. So I'm going to drop a link in the description about my coloring book. My dog is whining and howling because he thinks attention is always about him. We deserve gentleness. We deserve to love each other and love ourselves and be okay. And on days when we cannot give our 100%, just be okay with that. And so in ending, it's 40 minutes. Oh, Lord. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming here and listening to me ramble on and on about chronic illness and chronic pain. And hopefully you've gotten something out of this. And if you have, leave in a comment below, something that you got out of this that really helped you out. Or maybe you have a tip for me. I'm all ears. I'm just winging this whole thing. But I would absolutely love interaction and for people to see this and know that you're not alone out there. With that, I'm going to leave you and I will see you next Monday. Bye.